At what point is too close for comfort? Let me know when your like personal space anxiety kicks in. Has it started yet? Is this too close? Do you know what my hair reminds me of right now? And I'm not too thrilled about it. Animated version of Beauty and the Beast. No, I don't feel like Belle. I feel like Beast after they tried giving him a shower and a makeover. That's what is going on down here. Hey, what's up guys? It's Em. Today I am here to do an All My Snakes video. Now, I hear you loud and clear. I know that you guys want an All My Pets video, and I've been considering it. There are specific reasons why I have not done an All My Pets video, and it's mostly because, in a kind of grotesque way, I know it's like a very trendy PetTube thing to do, and typically those videos do very well, and then like if your channel starts to slip, you do another one and boom, you've got views again, right? But the thing with those is it kind of becomes a bit of like a competition as to who's got the most animals. Long and short, I have heard you loud and clear. I know that you guys want an All My Pets video. I'm just thinking how I can do it in a responsible way, in a way that doesn't seem like, look at all my animals, and also in a way that protects our privacy here at home. We are very protective over our family. Like, we don't even have friends coming over to the house all the time. I'm just like, this is our fortress, and you may pass as much as I allow you to through my editing and through seeing things like that. But I just want you to know that's why. It's not that I'm ignoring you guys, not that I don't want to do an All My Pets video. I do, I just want to do it in a certain way. YouTuber problems, not your problem. You're here to see snakes and I'm going to show you snakes. Today's video is sponsored by Amino Apps, and Amino Apps have an amazing reptile community in their app. It's a really beautiful app where you can go in, you can take quizzes, make polls, hang out in chats and talk about reptiles. I've personally been enjoying the reptiles chat, and the last time that I was in there, everyone was sharing their pictures of their reptiles and just having a great time. And whenever I'm in there, feel free to ask me questions, and also when you're in there, answer everybody else's questions. It's a great place to help other newer keepers as well, so definitely go and check out the Amino app. You can actually find out more information in my description box down below, and if you want to have a community of reptile lovers at your fingertips, that's the app for you. It's a beautifully made app and I'm sure that you guys are going to absolutely love it. If you're already in the Amino app and you use the reptile section, leave a comment down below with your username so that others can come and find you as well. Snakey snake number one, I have here today someone you will have never seen anywhere. He is a... Do you know what he is? He is actually a Calabar python. Now, number one, that name is deceptive, but number two, I just want to let you guys have a disclaimer that this is not always what a Calabar python looks like. Nope. He is very deep in shed. When a snake is in shed, you really shouldn't be holding them. So why am I holding it? Pure and simple because I just very quickly wanted to show you. Calabar pythons are actually fossorial, which means they really enjoy digging, just like Kenyan sand boas. They like to be buried beneath their substrate. So as soon as I put him back, he will bury himself and I will just leave him alone after that. The Calabar python is extremely shy. So what he's done is he's hidden his head just a bit like a ball python would do on the inside. But on the outside, if you can see, he's got this incredible tail, and his tail looks almost identical to his face. Just put an eye on either side and that there is what you would see as a Calabar python's head. But that's about as long as I'm willing to hold him for now, because as I said, you really shouldn't be handling your snakes when they're in shed, so I'm going to pop him back really quickly. Now, because I want to keep talking about my Calabars, but I don't want to have him in my hand, I have enlisted the help of my good friend Mike Schultz, and he actually has this amazing Instagram feed. I'll put it the link down below, but he is a reptile photographer. He is amazing at what he does, and I've actually asked him permission if I can share some pictures so you can actually see in great detail what a Calabar python really looks like. They are typically referred to as Calabar pythons, but they're actually they're not pythons. The thing is that Calabar pythons, which are actually classified as boas, are oviparous, so they actually lay eggs, whereas a lot of the Boidae family, boas, are viviparous. They give birth to live young. Yes, boas do actually have, you know, egg sacs inside of them where they're actually incubating their young internally, but they give birth to live young. Do you guys keep Calabars? Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think that they should be classified as pythons, as boas, or neither? I personally say neither, but they are technically recognized as boas, even though they're not. As far as the Calabar I have at home is concerned, I don't actually know how old he is. He was given to me by a friend who has lots of Calabar pythons. So yes, he was basically just gifted to me by a friend of mine. Thank you very, very much. And he's living very happily here at home. They can be very, very tricky to get feeding because they are nest raiders. They're not an easy snake where you can, you know, put a frozen thawed mouse on the end of tongs, wiggle it, and then they'll strike and eat. They are nest raiders, so you have to set up their food, which I'll probably do in another video because it'd be quite interesting for you, as though it is a rodent's nest. The second snake I want to show you guys today is an insanely popular snake, and that is the gorgeous Mexican black king snake. Mexican black king snake is an insanely popular snake these days because they just look amazing. It's a solid black snake. The solid black ones are obviously a lot more expensive than the ones that you can get which have some white mottles all over them, but Medianoche over here, which means midnight, is a solid black all over, like a 110% perfect specimen as far as Mexican black king snakes go. The Mexican black king snake does occur in the wild, just as you would see here in my hands. Sometimes they have some white mottling on them, but they're still Mexican black king snakes. Medianoche was very generously donated to Danny for his educational shows, so he's not an adoption, he's not a rescue, he wasn't bought, he was donated from someone that had quite a few of these beauties and knew that he was going to be part of an educational program. The thing with Mexican black king snakes, the thing that puts a lot of people off is they eat a lot, but they're very slow to grow. Unlike, you know, ball pythons or especially corn snakes, you know, as soon as they start eating, they start gaining some size. With Mexican black king snakes, it is a marathon and not a sprint. You can never house Mexican black king snakes with other king snakes of any sort because being king snakes, they can actually eat other snakes. There is really no denying the beauty of the Mexican black king snake. It is just an insanely cool, insanely beautiful snake, but there is a king snake which I believe does just pip them to the post in terms of beauty, and my personal preference is the grey banded king snake, which we're going to be looking at after Medianoche. They look like the most insane mother of pearl. Just stunning. So Zombie is also in shed today, which is a real shame because she's usually absolutely stunning, and she has these amazing opal eyes. And you know, usually when snakes are in shed, you can tell they're in shed as well, not just because their color goes darker, but because their eyes tend to cloud over and go like a milky blue color. Hers are always like that. She is in shed, but they're always like that because just like Bess, our big python who we'll bring out later, she's an old snake, a very elderly snake, so she has cataracts over her eyes. It doesn't really bother her. She can still sense her food, of course, because she's got her tongue, the Jacobson's organ. She doesn't really rely on her eyesight too much. In fact, she can't rely on it anymore because she is entirely blind. But that's all I'm going to say for Zombie because I don't want to stress her out or hold her too much. I'll see if I can insert some archive footage of her so you guys can enjoy her in her true spectacular form. Have you ever seen a snake like this before? Have a guess. What is this wriggly, unwilling, wormy noodle in my hands? You gonna calm down, sausage? There we go. This is a Cuban boa. With these guys, it's very difficult to find anyone who breeds them because they're not a very popular snake, which is why now they are actually very difficult to find in the pet trade. There's only, I think, like 2 or 3 breeders in the US now. I happen to be very good friends with one of them, and that's where this guy came from. He was actually sent to me for free by my friend who actually bred him, so thank you very, very much. Now, looking at his size, you might think that he's maybe a 1 or 2 year old snake. Nope, he is actually only 6 months old and he's only been fed 3 times because he is still learning to go for dead food. And he's already this size. Look at him. He is super impressive. Cuban boas get pretty large, up to about 7 or 8 feet. Obviously, the females are obviously a bit bigger, and they are very strong, very powerful snakes. They're semi-arboreal, so they like to live in trees. They're fantastic climbers, and given that they're boas, they give birth to live young. Let me give you some close-ups of this gorgeous Cuban boa. I find that they're very underrated. I think they're absolutely fascinating. In the light, they have a beautiful iridescence, a lot like a sunbeam snake. Not obviously quite at that scale. Get it, scale? But not at the scale of a sunbeam snake, but they have a beautiful iridescence. So there you go. That is a Cuban boa, 6 months old. Not named yet, not sexed yet, so we don't know whether they are male or female, but I have my suspicions about him being a male. So there we have it, a beautiful Cuban boa. The next snake you will be more than familiar with, it's Kaa the royal or ball python. I've had this girl for over a decade. She was my first snake that I committed to keeping at home. I'd actually been working with snakes when I decided to bring her home, and she's a rescue. She was actually won in someone's game of cards. Yes, a game of cards. Believe it or not, this is like a $10 snake right here, with these beautiful patterns. This is a $10 or maybe $20 snake. You can literally see bins full of these normal ball pythons. There's basically this fascination with designer ball pythons, and to designer ball pythons, I'm just like, ha ha ha! You spent how much on a snake? Come on, like, I just don't understand. I will never, ever, 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 ever understand the ball python market. To me, it's ludicrous. And when people like drop several G's on a snake, I'm just like, seriously? It's a ball python. And for me, I just don't like that side of the hobby. I kind of feel it's going to be the hobby's downfall, is the way that people will mass produce certain snakes in the hope of making something new, because then it will be worth something. To me, this is already worth something. I know that I've only been on YouTube for a year, but I've been in the reptile hobby now for 10 years, and I've seen the rise of the ball python, and I just think that it's a market which is not sustainable, and I just don't agree with it. When people put like that much worth on a snake whilst the rest of them, you know, flounder for $10 or $15, I will never understand it. You know, the greed and the selfishness behind the production of ball pythons, I'm just not a fan at all. When I see people advertising ball pythons for thousands, I'm like, what idiot's gonna buy this? Seriously? But people do, because they want to show off having like a designer animal. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? It's a snake. Like, it's not a handbag. Mini rant over. I love ball pythons. I think they're wonderful. They can be kind of difficult to start feeding. She was very difficult to start feeding. She didn't actually feed for a year. I got her in like September, October. She didn't feed until July the following year. So almost a year she didn't feed for. The thing is, they will fast periodically, and people really freak out when their snakes won't eat, and they immediately jump to thinking that they have to like live feed their snake. No, if you just have some patience and you understand what you're doing, you don't have to live feed your snake. You don't. Especially a ball python, they will always end up taking frozen thawed. I don't care what anybody says, they're not gonna starve. And if they do, then there's like something fundamentally wrong and sick with that animal. With her, I made sure she was hydrated while she wouldn't eat. I made sure that she wasn't losing any body weight. I was weighing her weekly. I think it was actually twice weekly, just because I was so scared that, given that she was my first snake, but I knew I didn't want to live feed for her. She has been an ambassador for me in the past. She used to come on loads of different educational shows. She is now retired. Even though she's not an old snake, she's done her time. She is retired. She doesn't have to go on another show again. She just sits around and eats and is wonderful. Yes, you do. And for a ball python, you know, because she's been so well handled, she's not head shy at all. You know, a lot of ball pythons, when you touch their heads, they immediately go, no, not her. She's not head shy. She's great. She's perfect. And I love her. And she's wonderful. Let's all hear it for Kaa. This is another snake that I know a lot of you will be familiar with. This is Pork Chop. Ta-da! Pork Chop is a western hognose snake, so she is native to America once again, as are many of my snakes that I have here at home, but she's not a wild caught. She is a captive bred animal. That nose there, that shovel nose, which is why they have the name hognose, because they kind of look like a little piggy, is just great for helping her to move through leaf litter and through various substrates. Hognose snakes are not particularly fussy creatures. They will eat small rodents, small birds, smaller snakes, lizards and frogs, and they're very very, very easy to keep in captivity because they're typically very, very good eaters, unlike a lot of other snakes that you can sometimes come across. So they're not particularly fussy eaters, they're not particularly slow starters either, but their cousin, the eastern hognose, is substantially bigger than the western hognose, and they are wonderful at being picky eaters. Oh my goodness, this is why I will never keep an eastern hognose, because they're just so difficult in the fact that they will only really eat amphibians. So you have to have a lot of frogs at your disposal, otherwise they're just not going to survive. I like to think of hognose snakes as the divas of the snake world because they are amazing at playing dead, especially the eastern hognoses. Eastern hognoses as well as western hognoses, if you poke them or you prod them, they will literally turn over, writhe around as though they're dying with their mouth wide open, and it's basically like they're just like, nope, I die straight away. They just should win an Oscar for the most dramatic deaths ever. Pork Chop was actually found on Craigslist. She was completely free, she just needed to be going to a new home that could give her what her previous owner couldn't. So we didn't pay for her, she was just a very good find on Craigslist. I will just take a moment to say that if you are looking for any animals online, don't trust everything you see, there are a lot of scams. Just stay safe on the internet. I'm not going to go too much into internet safety, just stay safe and use your head. They've actually got a defense mechanism which is so cute, where they can actually puff their upper ribs out and sort of give themselves a hood, a bit like a cobra. So that's really cute too when they do it, because they just look too cute when they're angry. It's almost like you want them to be angry because they're so cute. Oh, I should also mention that they are rear-fanged venomous, but in order to actually deliver any venom, they would have to really chomp down because their fangs are right at the back, hence the name rear-fanged venomous. But that venom is really only potent if you are like, you know, an anole, or if you're a toad or a frog, so you don't have to worry too much. If you get bitten by a hognose, you don't really need any medical attention unless you feel very sick, then obviously go to a hospital. I have to take out my earrings for this next snake because you'll see why. And this is why I decided to take my earrings out, because of Bess. He's a very, very big boy indeed. Bess is a Burmese python. He was actually given to us by a wonderful family when his owner sadly passed away. Are you in my hair, Bess? What are you doing? Bess really is a very large snake. He's about 18 feet long at the moment, and he is fully grown. He's not going to get any bigger. I don't know where his head is, which is a bit of a worry. Where is your head, Bess? Look at my chunky monkey! Who needs dumbbells when you have a Bess? Yeah, he is a gentle giant, but we always take caution around Bess. He is a wonderful ambassador. We absolutely adore him. Now, you can find them throughout Thailand. I've seen them in the wild there, but I've also seen them out in Hong Kong where I grew up. Okay, I promise I'm not actually trying to be rude when holding up this next snake, but he's in a pose which they typically do, and I don't particularly want to move him because it's how they feel very secure, so I do apologize. Let me just splay my hands out so it doesn't look too rude. This snake here is a rubber boa, and they are just so smooth. If you've never touched a rubber boa, you are really missing out. Rubber boas are native to the west coast of North America, and they actually occur all the way up into British Columbia, all the way up in Canada. So they are in fact quite able to deal with cooler temperatures very well. They actually get mistaken a lot of the time for earthworms when people are doing their gardening because they're so tiny when they're born. I did not name this snake. I wish I had, but I didn't. Danny named our rubber boa Goodyear. Ha 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 ha. After the tire company. I'm not a fan of the name. I would have called him Udon, as in udon noodle. But nope, it was Danny's turn to name our next snake, so he decided to go with Goodyear. But I personally think that Udon would have been a far better name. Goodyear is not fully grown. Goodyear is actually only 2 years old. When he is fully grown, he'll be about 3 feet in length and quite a bit chunkier. A little bit like the Calabars. Not as thick and chunky as the Calabar, but just about. He's just hanging out like a little bracelet. Look at him. If you're looking for a friendly display snake, this is not the one for you because they are fossorial. They love to burrow. They will never be on show. And actually, this is one of only two snakes that we have that live in a racking system, because it's actually just this snake and the Calabar which lives in a racking system, because they love to bury themselves. If you set them up beautifully in a nice tank with lots of decor, you're just never gonna see them at all. They will maybe come out when they're hungry, but that's it. The rest of the time, you will not see them for dust. And just like the Calabar, he was actually given to us. So he wasn't bought, he was given. He's not a rescue, he was just donated to us for the educational show. So there we go. Goodyear the rubber boa. Udon. This is Clifford the big red snake, just like Clifford the big red dog. He is a Honduran milk snake. Now, I know that these colors may denote danger. They are a non-venomous colubrid. They have no venom, nothing like that. They are just a beautiful, very high contrasty snake. Clifford, again, is another donation. He was given to us by his owner when his owner didn't want to care for snakes anymore, and they wanted him to go somewhere where he would be loved and even better of use, because he is a wonderful educational creature. Clifford is a real sweetheart. They have a very fast metabolism, these guys. They eat a lot, they poop a lot, and they're wonderful escape artists. Just like the king snakes, you have to be very sure that you have a very secure vivarium. These ones are actually in Herptex that we have here at home, which are plastic, which hold humidity and heat a lot better than glass does. Clifford is a really cool specimen, because although he looks like he might be a fancy morph, he's not. He's just a bog standard Honduran milk snake. Now that is Clifford the Honduran milk snake, but we do have one other Honduran milk snake here at home, and I will introduce you to Upside Down Clifford momentarily. This gorgeous snake is Oreo, and the reason why I refer to him as the Upside Down Clifford is because I'm a Stranger Things fan. To me, I basically think that Oreo looks like Clifford if Clifford had gone into the Upside Down, hence Upside Down Clifford, but we call him Oreo, of course, because of his creamy chocolate colors. Oreo is an anery Honduran milk snake, which is a type of morph. It's short for anatheristic, which basically means a lack of all red or orange pigmentation. So that's, as you can see, this is what Clifford would look like if he didn't have his beautiful red tones. This is an anery Honduran milk snake. Oreo actually came to us when his owner fell into difficulty and had to leave their living situation, and that person couldn't take their snake with them. So he is now with us. He's a really chunky Honduran milk snake. He's probably the largest Honduran milk snake I've ever seen. Not that I have any preoccupation with size. And again, this is a first. I've never shown Oreo anywhere, so I hope you guys enjoyed meeting Oreo. Now I have two other snakes, two last bonus snakes to share with you, and I don't think that they're snakes that I've shown before, maybe once on a live stream, but I think you'll enjoy them. These snakes are actually not mine, they're Danny's, and they are the only snakes that I will ever show you from Danny's private collection, because he's already got them on his Instagram, so they're no big secret. So in here I wanted to introduce you to two snakes. Now these are some of Danny's collection, and as I said, you know, with Danny, he doesn't like to show off a lot of his collection, but he's given me special permission today to show off these two. These in here, oh, I'm hitting something, are beautiful rhino rat snakes. So let me just zoom in a little bit. I'm not going to disturb them or take them out because they're actually in together for breeding. So that's not just one snake in there, there's actually two. The other head is just there, but it's actually submerged beneath the water, and it's two rhino rats we have in here. They've actually been living together now just for about a week. They have bred successfully now for the past 3 years, and if we end up getting, as usual, a nice clutch of rhino rat snakes, then I will absolutely share those with you in another video. But yeah, Danny actually produced both of these snakes. Danny still has both the mothers and fathers of both of these snakes, and they're just absolutely wonderful. You know, it's so nice to have several generations of carefully bred snakes, and they're not a snake that you see all the time. You know, they're not an overproduced snake, a lot like you know, corn snakes or ball pythons, and these snakes, if they produce successfully as they have done the last couple of years, they won't be for sale to the general public. Danny has his own group of friends who like to trade privately with each other, so if they have any offspring, we'll probably keep some back, and then some will go to some friends of ours who will probably give us a couple of snakes in return. Sorry about all the banging you can hear. Grinchy wants to come out. I put him away because he was being so loud, and now he's inside and being super loud in his enclosure. Thank you, Grinchy. And that's it, creatures. That is all my snakes I have here at home, which are my personal snakes. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. I'm really sorry if I seemed really iffy towards the end of the video. I actually got a really splitting headache around the time that I started showing you Oreo, and I wasn't sure if I was going to continue filming, but I have such a like jam-packed schedule. I kind of had no choice but to keep on going, so I'm just really sorry if I seemed really iffy towards the end. I actually have a really bad headache just like right here right now, so I'm gonna go and take 5 and lie down for a little while. But I hope that you guys enjoyed meeting all of my snakes. I hope that you guys enjoyed learning a bit more about them. I hope you got a fact or two. If you keep snakes at home, let me know what species you keep. Leave a comment down below to share which species you actually keep. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you in another video soon. Bye!